Hello, I'm Danny Darden. I'm your lead instructor for GenCyber, the GenCyber Institute at Kilgore College. We'd like to welcome you for our pre-camp activities. And one of the large themes of this program is gamification. So we're going to explore and give you lots of tools on how to gamify your classroom and teach cybersecurity awareness, cybersecurity skills, and we'll give you some technical tools that you can hopefully bring into your classroom. We want to give you just an array of tools that will meet you where you are, and hopefully we can stretch you and give you some exposure to some technology tools that you've never seen before, and that will help you integrate yourself as an even more technology-focused instructor as we begin to explore the idea of the concepts of cybersecurity, understanding defense in depth, and those types of competencies and knowledge, and also understanding and experiencing how to bring it alive to your students. And we want you to experience that. And one of the first things that we'll do is we'll look at a game that is a simulation environment, and it will allow you to go in and experience the early days of computing. It will give you a world, open the world of maybe the old days. Maybe you don't remember it, maybe you do, but we'll get you into an environment that puts you in an old Commodore 64 computer on the brand new internet, before there were graphics, and in a world that will allow you to expose your students to some of the basic technologies, terminologies, social culture, and other things that are there in the world of cybersecurity. So what I'm going to show you is a demo of that system. I will give you the tools you need to understand how it works at a simple level, and then we will give you an activity to do so that you can complete that on your own. And I would encourage you, the main part and the component of this above everything is exploration. We want you to explore. We want you to try something new. We want you to not be afraid to do something that you've never done before, because that is true learning, when you do it and you can say, I did that, I experienced it. And so this is the idea of gamification, and this is one concept of it. And so I hope that you enjoy this, and stay tuned for the video, and then you can start exploring on your own. Thanks, everybody. Welcome to GenCyber Institute at Kilgore College, and we're going to have some fun. Telehack is one element of gamification. The environment is close to what a computer terminal looked like in 1990. I use it in my classroom to teach students how to use the command line, how to interact with the computer system without using a touchscreen or a mouse, or without using voice commands. The way you get to Telehack is to go to a browser window and type in www.telehack.com and press enter. You will be connected to the system and taken to what we call a lobby. This is an environment that you're not logged in, but you're actually able to use the system. And we're going to use this to explore. And after you watch the video through, you'll want to complete the activity that's there so that you can do some of the things that I did and some others, and get you familiar with the environment. These are commands Each word that you see is a command that can be entered at the command prompt, which is simulated by this blinking cursor. So again, it's just like a computer that would have been around in maybe 1990 or 1991. It is set to mimic an actual computer system. As a matter of fact, the entire operating system of the machine is inside this, plus other features. But I use it in my courses to teach students how to use the command line, how to interact with the computer system without using a touch screen or a mouse, or without using voice commands. The system represents common systems that are in use in the cybersecurity world, as well as text-based coding. But this system allows me to give them a sandbox, and it's also gamified, but it's real enough that students use this in the classroom and they relate many things that they do in cybersecurity and networking into this particular system. So I'm going to show you a little bit about this. First of all, you're in a command world and you're able to interact with it using the keyboard. One of the first things that you can do is use a question mark always. That will give you this menu. Now it's going to look different once you log in, but we can use any of these commands in this environment without logging in. So you should be able to really get an idea of the environment, how it works before you create an account. So one of the first things that you'll want to do is learn how to use the text reader on this, the pager. So there is a command called more. More is the way that you would read a file on the screen. So what I will do is I will show you some of the files here. So what I did in this to get that output is I typed in the word more. I pressed the space and I used the tab key. And that tab key automatically filled in some files. These are files that are listed, that are stored on the disk, that I can look at any of these files using more. So more is essentially the command that allows me to see on the screen these files. So one of the things that I'll have you do in that little activity that we do is I will have you read the file future.txt. So future.txt is, if I did this right here, I would press enter on the keyboard. And this is a little essay about the future, and it helps us put things into perspective, and we can think about the tools we use. And this was written probably quite some time ago, but it's very relevant. It allows us to think about the technological tools that we use in our everyday life. And the computer, in this case, is my favorite device, my favorite machine, which could be my cell phone today. It could be my VR headset tomorrow, but it's very much relevant, and it's a short read. And I invite you to do that. And so the way you get around in this, I'm just going to show you some navigation commands. The space bar. So you'll see at the bottom of the screen where there's more, and then 10%. If I hit space, now you will see that I'm at the 37% portion of the file. Now I'm in the middle, 55%. And so I'm using the space bar to page through this file and read it. I can also use my arrow keys up and down on the keyboard. That will go line by line. And then if I decide I want to quit reading, I can hit the Q key. If I happen to press the question mark key, I will get some little output that tells me the commands. So the help button is always available, and it is the question mark. Shift and the slash on your keyboard, that will give you that question mark key. And so you can see that it gives me some commands that are here. The space bar for more, B for back, Q for quit. And any of those commands that I type in the letter, it's going to do what it says it's going to do. So if I want to go to the top, I'll press G, and there's the beginning. And I can read through it again. And Q for quit. And you just press this on your keyboard, you won't see it happen, but now you're back at the command prompt. So that is the more command. And more takes some type of parameter. It takes another, you have to give it something. If you just put it in more without anything, it's going to ask you, what file do you want? All right, so this is the way that I teach command line operation and parameters. Another file that you'll want to read, and you can do this now or you can do it later when you create an account, but it is the telehack.txt file, and I'm just going to press the tab key to autocomplete that so I don't have to do it, and that's the tab key on the keyboard. It will always autocomplete. So I can even type in the first couple letters, and I can press tab. In this case, it's going to give me two different files, and now I can't read exe files. These are programs, but I can read text documents. So I will put the L in and press tab, and now it will automatically complete for me. This works for any file name or any file that you had, that any command that needs a file for a parameter. And so now I have the Telehack user guide, and this will tell me more about the system. If there's something that you don't understand as you read through it, don't worry. Just continue to read through the document. I don't expect that everyone will understand how to use the secure shell protocol, right? That's not something that you need to worry about. So the way that it's designed is that if you see something you're not familiar with, just keep going, and eventually you'll gain more experience and knowledge, and you'll see how the system works. So this is designed for exploration. You will not be able to break anything. You will not be able to do anything wrong. This is actually a program written, and it is running in memory on a server. This server has been up for 8 days, and you can see that it has also been running for 14 years. So it's been around a very long time, and it is something that's used very much by many people, and the same developers that develop it and use it are there on a day-to-day basis. So this is definitely a labor of love by a very close group of individuals. I know many of them personally, and this environment has been something I've used in my classroom now for many years. Okay, so that is the overview of Telehack. The other thing is the next thing about this, and you can explore these commands, and I would encourage you to do so. There's nothing that you could type in that will be wrong. For example, I'm going to pick a command, QR. What does QR do? Well, it's gonna ask me for some input. It makes a QR code. Now, if I didn't know that, I could also use the help command. And I could write help QR, and it would tell me here to generate a QR code. Right, so I can actually use help with any command. And remember, the question mark will get us a list of commands, and any command you type. Some of them are games. Some of them are little utilities that convert numbers. There's a calculator. There's a programming simulator. There's some networking utilities. There's lots of options to play with and explore. But the one thing that you'll always see if you're not logged in will be to type new user to create an account. So I'm going to take you through that really quickly. So what we will do is type in new user, and it will give us the privacy policy, which we can read if we want to. So that Y or N means that I can just type Y. The big Y means that if I just press enter, I'm going to get Y. That's why it's capital. But if I press N, I'm going to go and bypass it. But if I press enter, I'm going to get a big Y because it's capital. And there's my privacy policy. It tells us what information the system is going to collect. And one thing that's interesting I want to point out to you is that, and this is something that that you want to discuss with your students, is that if you ever use it in the classroom, is that information shared in chat and mail, such as send and relay, individual lines and keystrokes typed at any time, other activities and information, all of the information here that you see may be visible to other Telehack users. And so the way you want to approach this particular system is there is absolutely zero expectation of privacy on it. In fact, it is possible that other people will be able to see what you type, and that is part of the game. So that's very. You'll see this at some point if you continue looking at it and playing it, but it's just a part of it, and it helps you understand and will help you to understand a little bit more about how technology works, and the fact that there's a lot more to it than we often understand, and we take a lot for granted. So to go to the next part, I just hit Q to quit the policy, and now I'm at the username prompt, and I would just go ahead and make that up. And I'm going to go ahead and make up a username. And now one thing I would like to encourage you to do is to make sure that you write this down. Because it's going to be a little bit challenging in the future if you forget your password. It may be a little bit harder to know, so we'll just write it down. And I'm going to write my password down, my username down. And then the next thing is this is going to give us, it says this is not a valid username, so I can only contain lowercase letters and digits. It must be 2 to 9 characters in length. So that one is too long. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. However, this simulates the computer from 1990, right? So some of the things that we take for granted now are not exactly were not exactly implemented back then. So this password, you can have a pretty secure password here, but there may be some requirements on it as well. And I'm going to write my password down. And I know that, security convention says never write your password down. Well, in this case, write your password down. And that's just, that is just a safeguard. This is not a clandestine system. So you go ahead and write your password down. That way you don't have any problems remembering what it is. So the next thing we're going to do is enable password reset via email. And you can do that. And it's going to ask for email address. Now, you don't have to do your personal email address if you don't want to. I'm going to use WAP mail. This will make a burner email address, and I'll show you how to do that. So, if I have never done this before, my text will be blank, and I could generate a random address if I wanted to. And so here is my email address that I'm going to generate. And I'm just going to copy it, or I can click the copy button. And I'll click check inbox. Now this is what you would call a burner email address. And I'm just going to right click here and paste this email address in. Now it has said that a verification code has been sent to your email address. Now you can use your own personal email address. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to use this burner email. I'm going to refresh. And look, now I have an email. I'm going to say that I'm not a robot. And here is my verification code. November 92 Echo. And I'm going to put that in just like it was. And now I'm logged in. Here's my username. And it tells me that I have mail. So I will show you the command to go forward with that in the activity. But you now have noticed that your prompt has changed to the @ sign. And so that indicates that you are logged in as a regular user and you have a Telehack account. So you can explore and you can have now access to multiple commands, and you should be able to continue with the activity, and I'll have you post some screenshots of that, and we'll have a discussion board for you if you have any questions about anything or run into any snags. We'll be there to help you. All right, enjoy and get ready to play and have some fun in the Telehack environment. So if you've never actually experienced anything like this, it is a little bit immersive. So enjoy this, and hopefully you'll find some fun with it and you can bring it into your classroom. We will focus on specific parts of it in our camp, but don't wait to play. This is why we did this early. Thanks.